You must be very excited. Only those who bear those beautiful red eyes are chosen. We see you. Let us light your path.
Come, wanderer, step into the drift. Let me share with you a fragment of my infinite knowledge.
This thing inside of you, it is the key to everything.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of IndieX 2023. We're almost exactly at the middle of this digital event, and I hope you all are having as much fun as we were having showcasing you these amazing games and having great conversations with their creators. And I have to tell you that we all have a favorite genres. We all have genres that we possibly end up not playing as much as others. It's only natural, especially if we have an open mind to all these amazing games and don't have any kind of prejudice, be it outside of games or even in games. So I have to tell you well, publicly, I said usually FPS are not the kind of games that I play. So I have to tell you when it says a lot about a submission process for IndieX when an FPS game is so good that I have to disclose that it was actually one of my highest rated games of all the close to 650 submissions we have. So it's a huge pleasure for me to have a conversation with two of the creators of Luna Abyss from Bonsai Collective. Now I'd like to thank um, Shawny, Alison, and Alex Milner for being with us in this hour. The creators, or two of the creators of this amazing FPS that really rocked my world when I played it. Thank you for being with us, Shawny and Alex. How are you?
Thanks, Ricardo. Doing pretty good here. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm having a great time playing all these games. And I, I have to tell you, I don't know if you, I think I know you heard this. FPS are usually not my go-to games, and I have to admit that when I played Luna Abyss, I was my jaw dropped. I immediately called João and I said, "Have you already played this game that was submitted, Luna Abyss? What is this? It's such a good game. Congratulations, really. It's I think when you surprise someone that usually don't play that kind of game, that's a huge proof of how good your game actually is, and your game is amazing. Congratulations."
Thank you. Oh, talented. So
Yeah.
props to everyone at Bonsai for making this and just to make the game as accessible as it can be for anyone if you're not into first-person shooters specifically.
And how many people are working in Luna Abyss at this moment? How many people are part of Bonsai Collective?
Currently, I believe we've got 18 core members of the studio, and then we have a few contractors that we work with as well.
Okay, so composer is part of the team. It's all everything, obviously, original compositions in terms of music.
Yes, our composer, David Housden, is amazing. Did absolutely fantastic work and worked with our senior writer, Laura Mauro. They actually wrote all of the lyrics for our soundtrack, and then those were translated into Latin for the music. Did a fantastic job working with with David and also with the orchestra and the choir that we worked with.
Something that people will notice in a few minutes when we swap to the game is when you thought about how was the process of developing Lunabis, because our first contact with the game, we noticed simultaneously how organic and how surrealistic the game looks, and that combination makes it really stand out from any other game of the genre. Was it some really conscious decision of the team, like this is one of the roads we will take to make Luna Abyss stand out in the middle of the crowd?
I mean, I can take that one if you want, Shawny.
Yeah.
So with the development of the team, the directors really wanted to, I suppose, get through, just make a game based on their true inspirations. Why Bullet Hell specifically? The director wanted to challenge the Benny Hill. Everything had to be spatial in the level design, so we had to make sure we could have things like the lock-on system. So as an anchor point, weave through the many bullets that will come your way. So during the development process, it was all about working with each different discipline of just making sure I suppose more so the core points of it being like a narrative-driven first-person action adventure game, punctuated by the arena-based Bullet Hell. Just try and mesh all these through each of the departments, and being such a small team as well, communications a lot easier to get those, I suppose, those points across, and with the level of expertise our team has. But throughout the process, from beginning to end, it was just ensuring that those inspirations were almost like a looking glass into what we wanted to create.
And while we dive into the game, let me ask you if it was in the back of your mind how successful a game that had the same approach, Returnal, did in terms of marketing, and how the consumers reacted to it. If in a way prove that your idea or your initial concept has legs to stand in, and there is market for this kind of approach.
Yeah, I mean, so Luna Abyss has been in development since 2019. So we'd already started work on it before Returnal was announced, and just seeing like the success of Returnal while we've still been working on this game and while we've still been kind of not announcing it yet has been a big confidence booster, I think, as it's something people will want to play.
And did it change? Sorry to pry into more the business side. Did you feel that how well Returnal did also helped in terms of conversations with investors or publishers? Did you feel some kind of difference how people reacted to Luna Abyss?
I mean, I can't really speak for our business director, but I think the reaction to Returnal definitely, I guess, gave us some ammo as to say Luna Abyss is a game that people will want to buy.
Time to wake up, little wanderer.
Now we're diving into the game, and I think everyone can see for themselves how in the first few moments after you press enter after the main menu, you immediately get sucked in by how beautiful and obviously in a dark way the game looks. It's so beautiful.
What happened to my body?
Thank you. That is obviously all down to our incredible art team that worked on this. Just as the level design team to create these spaces to really make the player feel like they're in this world, trapped, contained, really sets it up quite nicely for the narrative of the game as well.
Is this Bonsai Collective's first game?
It is, yeah. This is our debut game. A lot of people on the team have worked on other projects before, and some of them, like me, this is our first project.
And quite a big adventure for a first project for some of you, isn't it? Like going immediately
definitely.
to something with this scope and this quality, it must be simultaneously encouraging and terrifying.
Terrifying is a good way to put it.
But in a good way, a good terrifying.
We've had a few times when we've released trailers that we've been compared to these like massively successful games. Returnal being one, Destiny 2 being one, which is a big compliment for us having such a small team, but it feels like so much to live up to.
Taking into consideration the size of the team, and obviously not always the consumers or people that click on your trailer or try the demo would have the idea of the size of the team. Do you think those comparisons that they are doing, and I think with merit for your team for being compared with those games, do you think in a way might be negative if people expect something outside of the scope of a team like the size of yours? You think it's risky?
Yeah, it's something that we've kind of made sure that we're being upfront about in all of our communications, is that Bonsai Collective is a small team. We're not, we're not the size of Bungie or Housemarque even. And we want to make sure that people know that Luna Abyss is going to be an amazing game when you play it. But it is not the next Destiny 2. It's not the next Returnal. It's its own own entity, essentially.
It's kind of ironic having a game looking this good for a first project for a team with the size that Bonsai Collective has. It's kind of a double-edged sword in a way, isn't it? Specifically for that expectation, that management of expectation that some consumers might have. But then again, if they play,
I'll let Alex answer that one, because it's definitely going to be more of an effect on him.
I just, there's already been quite a very positive response, like overall, especially towards the look of the game, and the fact that there's is just as like someone who's worked in, especially like in engine, day in and day out, trying to craft these experiences. It's just so good, and to just know that that there's going to be more that to come for the players to see. In terms of, say, like expectations, I think everything's always usually compared. Typically, it's what you want to do. You want to try and get something to be the closest thing to compare it to. But we at Bonsai, especially with Lunar Abyss, we wear our inspirations on our sleeve, I think, and we're not afraid to shy away from what truly inspired us to create this game. So we're understandable that there's going to be these certain comparisons, but at the same time, there is such a uniqueness to this game that will, as you get along with the game and you play it further, you will see those differences and just unique aspects to not only just to the art but to the gameplay as well.
Yeah, obviously, and we just had one of the biggest Destiny 2 fans that I know, Sessions in our chat, saying that it can identify why people compare one thing to the other, and I think obviously you should take as possible as a compliment, because Destiny is a good game, and like you said, having those inspirations up your sleeve and noticing how that affects or not the actual team. But at the same time, Luna Abyss is their own, its own has its own identity, isn't it? Because your approach is more horror-like in the ambience, even if in the creation of your enemies, everything has more somber, more gritty approach. I think that's one of the things that really stands out to me. How this mix of horror and organic and sci-fi blends into this amazing experience.
Yeah, a lot of the major inspirations should say is like cosmic horror of the unknown. Harking back to like Lovecraftian entities, even like Edgar Allan Poe style, just this bleakness of the space and the world, the story, these characters. But there might be some areas of joy as well, the dichotomy of that, and being able to go through these spaces and feel different things. Not only this somber world, but there was life to it once, for example, which you will find later in the game.
Have you been? How's the feedback from players that have been trying the demo? There's a demo already on Steam, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. We've had a lot of good feedback from the demo, and it's definitely very encouraging to see people kind of enjoying and like really starting to fall in love with this world that we've built and the characters that we've built. So just this guy.
Oh, we love this guy.
Yeah, we do.
Isn't much salvage left here, all the useful technology.
So as we've I'll go into it because once we see the waif, that's it. I'm talking about the waif.
Yeah.
So this is kind of one of the more intriguing things about the story is a lot about the character building within this world, and just got this weird I love you going through this weird dead space, but then you find someone with such character but such mystery to them that you almost just want to figure out more and more about them. And the game gives you these little bits of information through codices. You might pick up information to breadcrumb you through this story, maybe a bit more personal towards, say, the waif, or more to do with the waif itself. And then also lovely little crystals that you can go around and smash as
Always that curiosity of what can we destroy in a game like this. But yeah, it contributes to the mystery around this, because we are dropped here. Obviously, this sounds surreal in the way that we appear in this world, and even this kind of interaction with a character like Waif contributes to this, or even this graffiti on the wall. Like
a fun fact about this graffiti, actually, on the wall that you're facing right now, these pictures of the heads that are kind of just straight in front of you. If you turn,
These ones?
All of these are actually images from a team game of Gartic Phone that we did, where we drew some of the enemies from the game, and they became emotes in our team Discord, and made their way into the game in the form of graffiti as well.
You see, this is why I was telling you why doing the streaming sessions is obviously my favorite part of all of this, because you play and having the pleasure of getting to know these little details and Easter eggs. It's so good. So, if you didn't tell me that, I would thought okay, it had some meaning, but not as much as you said. That's really amazing. It's really amazing.
It's one of those fun little things that we got to kind of put into the the almost finished product, and it's just kind of puts a little bit of us into the game.
In terms of roadmap, do you have or is it? Can you disclose more or less what's your idea in terms of when is Lunar Abyss gonna be released? How far are we?
My lips are sealed on that front, unfortunately. We haven't set a release date yet. We are kind of hoping to have more of an idea of what our release date is going to be in the hopefully near future. But unfortunately, I cannot give that away at the moment. I might get told off.
More mysteries. That's what it is.
We have a question. Is this like a linear game, or does it allow for some kind of exploration with, some kind of Metroidvania elements to our exploration?
Yeah, so at its core, it is a linear game.
So we have... Oh,
That's
yeah, I shouldn't have done
There's
this.
a safety net there, don't you worry. I plugged that in there just to save you.
So we have the action and the shooting and the bullet hell approach, but also this exploration that makes us look to the gaps, to the architecture. This is a way that you created to immerse us more into the mystery around Luna Abyss and its story.
Yes. So states as this abyss, this kind of like liminal space of mystery. We want to ensure during the level design and the art direction that you felt like almost like you were never really on the true path. If that makes sense. There is the abyss shifts, and it's not like a specific paved road that you're going down. It's as if you are searching, you're the first one there almost, as anyone that goes down there is almost like the first person going down into the depths of Luna. So it's to add that nice mystery to it, to give you that feeling of like maybe going out of bounds almost.
Yeah, and a lot of the way the world is built and the lore that goes into it kind of just assists the story as well, because at its core it is a narrative-driven game. It's a story shooter, and you know, we're following the story of Fawkes as they kind of are serving their sentence on the Red Moon. And we're seeing their first forays into the abyss and what it's like for them.
In a question like chicken, kind of a chicken or the egg,
Yeah.
what started first? Like, did the team had a concise idea of the narrative part? What kind of story you wanted to tell? Was it the visuals that started on all of this? What was in the beginning the process?
I don't think. Oh, so go.
It was kind of a bit of both, really. The idea of what sort of game we wanted to make kind of, I guess, spurred on the concept art that our art director did, and it's just been kind of a idea of what kind of game we want it to be, what kind of things we definitely want to have in it, and how it's built from there, really.
So, since the early beginning, there was already a pretty highly fleshed out story of what Luna Abyss was about. It's not going to be just another FPS. It's going to be something else.
Yeah, it's something that we've been trying to get across lately, especially because we want to manage people's expectations of what they think they're going to get with Luna Abyss. And Luna Abyss is very much a narrative-driven, like action-adventure game. And then, as Alex said earlier, it's punctuated with that bullet hell combat arenas. But overall, the narrative is kind of the forefront of the game.
Yeah. Because I feel sometimes you notice, this is not the case, but all of us played games independently of the genre, that you feel like the script was inserted like cement between the gameplay. Like you feel that the inception of the project was mechanically or a specific genre that the team would like to do, and then they almost hammered the narrative part to flesh out the rest of the game. And I think you don't feel this. It feels more organic. The questions that arise while you are playing Luna Abyss's demo makes you think that there's like a balance, like in terms of rhythm when you're playing. There's this sense of exploration and trying to figure out what's happening to Fawkes on this ascendancy that we're living through, and the action parts. Do you know what I don't know if this was clear what I was saying, but Was this in the back of your mind, like this balance, like everything is coming and getting fleshed out in a natural way for the team?
Yeah, I can answer that. So yeah, everything we wanted to make sure was like synonymous. Make sure the gameplay complemented the narrative complemented the gameplay, but then also complemented the art, the audio design. Every facet of the development of this had to complement one another to create this that is explorable, but is also gameplay rich and story heavy as well, ensuring that those key beats are respected almost. So everything we did was for the favor of everything else to work in tandem.
Was it
Yeah.
pretty soon? Sorry, Shawny.
I was just going to add as well, as Benny Hill, our creative director, would say, Bonsai is a world-building first studio. He likes to get that point across.
Yeah, it makes sense. And following up on that, was already, did you all, or especially your art director or creative director, had the idea of the color palette that the game would be having, like this between the grays, the black, the white, and the reds? Was this already pretty solid in terms of idea for Lunabis?
So parts changed over development as does normally, but say for like this the level that you're going through now, I'm pretty much sure was meant to be this from the get-go, this kind of like oppressive gray mixed with the brutalist architecture, this red lighting, which was quite an interesting choice because typically in games you'd think of like a red light as a danger. In this level specifically, we're using it as a follow this direction. So having that kind of like almost like juxtaposition for the player just makes you feel like you're in an alien world. But as for, say, the level you're going through now, that was mostly set, I believe. But as we got through development and we learned more about the game, obviously it was a journey for us as well. We then looked into these other levels, which players will get to, and we didn't want to make it all the same. So there is some variation.
Something that I also feel, and I don't know if it's conscious or not from the art team, there are also huge vibes from HR Geiger.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it a conscious thing? Does it pop in your conversations? Or the fleshing out of this world?
Yes. So like I said earlier, we do just wear inspirations on our sleeve. We as a team we love to talk and just reference those different games, movies, stories, any form of medium that we've grown up to enjoy. That might not even be directly related to, say, that medium or discipline, but have all like inspired us or given us inspiration and direction for what we want for each of these aspects of the game. Stuff like HR Geiger, world building we've got from like the manga of Blam, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and then even if we're going to like talking about like the design itself, we're all gamers, of course, but I mean, we can look at the games like BioShock, Half-Life, and Destiny's been brought up a few times as a definite like inspiration for the game. But we've all got like different, like for myself, grew up on like Jack Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, all those adventure games that could pull into, and we could all bring our own perspective in to this title.
We have someone in our chat saying that they downloaded the demo and played it for six times already. So I think
wow, that's more than me.
I can see that is Mutant. Mutant is one of our Discord mods and a very big advocate for the game.
Yes, thank you very much.
And I imagine the anxiety of someone that played. I think demos are also like had this in a way a sour taste, because when you love a game as much as you well, if someone downloads Lunar Abyss, obviously they will feel this. You immediately have that idea like, oh, I want the game finished because I want to play the rest, you know. Reminds me when we were younger and we had those PlayStation discs, PlayStation demo discs, and we were really looking forward to play everything. And maybe that's what Mutant Academy, I think it's the one that's spoken in our chat. That's why they played already 6 times this game, and I completely understand you. You want to know what's beyond actually the rest of the game. Yeah, we have to be patient.
Yeah, I think it probably definitely helps that we kind of, the demo ends just as we're kind of getting to some really good parts. So it's definitely going to leave people wanting more, which is part of the point.
Yeah, so I'm well, people that have been watching this, they noticed that we picked up another weapon, so now we have the capacity to break shields, which is another mechanic. Are there, if you can disclose, any more kind of mechanical additions to the gameplay that we can find?
Yeah, so I've shared a little bit about it on social media and on Steam. Overall, throughout the game, you'll collect 4 distinct weapons, and then also some abilities that you can use in combat as well. We won't say too much about it because it's a very good surprise.
I sort of have to tell you, and I think everyone that picks up the game and downloads it. But don't forget, I know Sir Beckers has been pasting it on the chat for you to, if you're interested in the game, please go follow the Steam page and wishlist the game, and try the demo, because something that you will feel, and I think you nailed it, is it's not easy to create organic and well controlled platforming areas. Obviously, I will say platforming with commas, but all those moments we have to reach different areas in the game or jump to pipes or something else, I think it's pretty much, it feels fair and it feels well designed in terms of controls. Sorry, I'm more or less rambling because I'm trying not to die.
Yeah, I get that.
Just trying to multitask. But really, I felt that when I had to do that jump to a distant pipe, I think the easier part was to create a game that would infuriate you for being badly programmed in terms of jumping. This is not the case, okay? You saw that I didn't miss a single step, and that's not because I'm an expert on first-person shooters or first-person action games. It's actually a merit of Lunar Abyss.
Yeah, that's I think part of that comes down to making it accessible for me to play, because I'm very bad at platforming games.
Yeah, to add on to that, we obviously wanted a title that was both accessible and challenging, but without taking from either side or either like level of skill or requirements. So some of like all these different like jumping challenges, of course, will get a bit more difficult. Will unlock more and versatile movement and traversal abilities later in the game. Utilize, but especially like this first level, it is. We want to have those moments where some dialogue going on that we want the player to be more focusing on than say like traversal itself. But we also just want to ensure that we just make the world sometimes the focus rather than the specific action. And I believe we've done a very good job of making the movement feel really fluid, especially when we get into those later abilities as well, to make the traversal around the world just feel good. Because that's the one thing we obviously want to ensure, is that just everything feels responsive, especially for a platforming game.
have to agree with something that Sessions just said in our chat, which is it's really interesting that weapons are not just means for the combat. You actually thought them and tried to bring them to the actual exploration. And we just felt it with our shield breaker weapon.
Yeah, so they're also pretty much tools. I won't give too much away, but with the shield breaker, there was like a codex next to it, so I think I'm legally allowed to say this. Certain tools that certain weapons that you find in the game were used as tools in down in the abyss. They're also obviously used as shown in the demo to destroy shields around these strange creatures. So it promotes this like kind of almost like weapon switch, kind of like Doom style of always picking the rock versus scissors, etc., which just feels the core system on the weapons as well that make you want to use these different weapons that all have different like damage types and ranges.
Shawny, you actually have a direct message for you on the chat from Fickle Burrito, saying, "Yay, Shawny, love to see the more detailed discussion and showcase of the game. Can't wait for more to be shown as time progresses. Don't forget to wishlist it, everyone, and join the game Discord too." That's actually a good suggestion. I just noticed in this end of demo screen, you have a Discord server.
We do, yes. Yeah, we have a Discord server that is run by myself and our mod team. And it's probably one of the best places to get updates about the game because everything will be shouted about in there.
By the way, it's Rad. I don't know if you know who is speaking, but Fickle Burrito said it's Rad, by the way. That's good. The game already has a huge fan base, and if you can't recall all of them, that's a good idea that you have lots of them, and it's well deserved. We have another question, like from Sessions also. I saw that at least health upgrades you can find in the map. Is there any way to get them if you miss them a first time, or due to it being linear, that's something you can miss?
So it is something you can miss, which is part of why we kind of say like it's take your time in the levels and look around because there are things to find out there that you might miss the first time round, but it's good to try and find them because that's where a lot of the lore is, and kind of a big part of it is learning about what the Abyss was like pre Scourge, which is the big event that takes place before the start of the game. That's part of the reason why you're sent in as a scout to look through the Abyss to find all of this technology that's been lost and forgotten because of it.
So there's no way, like Sessions is reminding us, like in Doom 2016, where you can actually revisit older areas. Like the idea is you progress and you leave those areas behind.
Yeah, that is how it works currently. Yeah.
And we were talking before the streaming session started about offline events. How has been the feedback and how have you seen the visitors of physical events reacting to your game? How excited were they? What kind of feedback have you been getting from players?
Yeah, so I haven't taken part in any of the offline events myself, unfortunately. But all of the feedback that we got through taking part in those events has been really positive. We've had a lot of people that have come and tried the event, the demo at an event, and then have gone on to join our Discord, and they're some of the biggest champions of the game.
And I think it always works better when it's organic or natural, like that. People really falling in love with the game and being their biggest advocates, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I set out with when we started building the Bonsai Collective community for Luna Abyss was that we wanted to have a really organic sort of grassroots community where we were bringing people in because they were really like in love with the game and wanted to see more of it and wanted to show more people it. We wanted it to be very organic and still personable. So, like with our Discord server, I'm in there talking with people quite a lot about the game and also just about anything else that's going on, really. And it's been great to get to meet so many people that are excited about this game that we've created.
We segue to the physical edition event sessions. We were also speaking about this before coming live. I think we still have to talk if Luna Abyss will be part of the physical event in Lisbon. But I hope so, because it'd be great to have this amazing game showcased in the physical event. So yeah, I have another question for you. Then again, not prying too much into what I shouldn't, but Bonsai Collective is developing Luna Abyss. It's its first game, and it's going to be self-published from what I noticed from your Steam page.
Yeah, so currently we're self-publishing, but we are open to publishing opportunities.
Okay. That was precisely my question, because it could be something already set in stone, like this is the way we want to go. We're developing the game. We want to publish our own game. But okay, so this is a good information to have, especially if publishers are watching. So yeah, there's also congratulations for you for how the game looks here in the chat, and it's I think we can state this enough. I know you do you it's always difficult for us to separate ourselves from the work we're doing, but is the team self-conscious on how good the game already looks and feels?
Well, I think we as Bonsai it makes us quite a place to work for, is that we're so complementative towards one another. We can be critical in obviously a nice way, but we lift each other up. We can look at something and want to keep improving it as best we can, but we can stop and just our own and everyone else's work. And because we keep that kind of like positive iteration going and making sure everyone feels mental health wise and just like professionally as well, I think that's contributed so much to this project of just everyone championing one another.
And since I think we spoke this only before the streaming session, you have different experience levels on your team. Do you feel those different levels, like the most experienced developers in your team, are all at the same time helping to raise the experience of the least experienced ones and trying to showcase the best way their own talent, both their talents, like the more experienced and the less experienced?
Certainly, yeah. I think one of the benefits as well for a studio is that direct communication, your own discipline, but the amount you can learn from myself, being able to learn from the art, the audio team, all the incredible work that they're doing, that just helps bolster my own learning through my own development career.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, Alex.
No, you go ahead.
Because in this conversation, I ended up not asking directly what were your roles on Bonsai Collective.
Myself, I am a level designer. So I've worked on part of every. Also with our senior designer Johnny and our design director Ben. Obviously, everyone has put their expertise into those levels.
Yeah, and for me, I'm the community manager, so I do all of our social media and community stuff. So I'm the one putting everything out on Twitter and Steam and everything. So if you see something that is wrong or misspelt, it was probably me, but I try not to do that. And then I'm involved in our talks around PR and marketing and things like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I also had a very short stint where I was the resident bug magnet. So I would just play through the game and find all of the bugs that were ridiculous and nobody else could ever reproduce.
That's a good perk. Is that an achievement you unlocked? And now it gives you that passive ability?
It is an achievement that I unlocked that fills our tech team with dread.
And by the way, Alex, since you're the level designer, I think it must be both funny and also a work tool for you, seeing players go through the game like I just did during this hour, because maybe you can get some ideas of where do we look for if we're missing some cue in terms of where should we go. Is it important for you?
Oh, certainly, yeah. I think one of the big challenges for level design is getting into your own headspace. So you'll just like almost like muscle memory going through the levels. But to sometimes it's obviously good as a designer just to be able to kind of think like a player as well. But then also there is so much value to be like even seeing someone in the team playing through, just being like, here you go, I'm going to sit back, I'm not going to say anything, I just want to see how you play through this level, because then that helps inform us where we should add in secrets, just like little Easter eggs here. But then for the most part, it's just like how we ensure the player can get back on track. Obviously, it's a linear game. We have more affordances there than say like a block that maybe uses like landmarks and stuff to direct players. But there is obviously some times where, especially with a game like Lunar Abyss, where you want to explore every nook and cranny, it's making sure you get back on those points. But we've already seen some videos for some really excellent content creators on YouTube playing through the demo, and to be honest, they're doing stuff that we haven't seen yet. So sometimes it's scary. They're kind of like, wait, why are you going over there? What are you doing over there? You should be over there. But then I think just seeing that like the exploration, the new sensation player is more rewarding than it is scary, really. And it helps us inform, like, maybe if we can make a few changes here and there, or maybe it's just good as it is. Like, we've got them over there, like, to look around. Then maybe they've seen something, but they're back on track. So we just allow that exploration for the player feel natural.
Well, Shawny and Alex, thanks a lot for being with us during this streaming session. I would also like to congratulate you both and the rest of the Bonsai Collective team on this amazing game. I think for me personally, it's one of the best FPS I've played in quite a while. I'm really looking forward to play it till the end and discover what's happening to motivate Fawkes to scout this the Luna Abyss. So
I will keep my lips sealed, but I will say it's a very good story.
yeah, all the mystery just points to that, But when you start a story, when you get involved in a really good TV series or a book or even a video game, and you got so immersed, you really want to know what's the mystery in the end. That's what I'm feeling about Luna Abyss. So I'm really looking forward to playing it till the end.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us, Ricardo, and of course IndieX, and thank you to everyone that's supporting us and Wishlist. Yeah, have a wonderful rest of everyone's mornings.
Yeah. So
thank you for everyone's kind words.
And please don't forget to wishlist Luna Abyss. We've been having for, I think, each 5 minutes the link to Steam. So please go wishlist and keep updated. It's an amazing narrative first-person shooter. So please check it out. I really hope that Luna Abyss could be part of the physical event. So let's get our fingers crossed and talk afterwards because I think it would be amazing to actually meet you and the rest of the people of and the team of Bonsai Collective. So thank you both for being with us this hour.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And please stay tuned because this isn't over. We're, like I said, we're almost reaching the middle point of IndieX 2023's digital edition, and we're gonna return in 10 minutes with another different game and another amazing game, and it will be Lil Guardsman. So please stay tuned, and see you later. Thank you.
You must be very excited. Only those who bear those beautiful red eyes are chosen.